Hello, Zemalf here and welcome back to Beginner's Guide to Dwarf Fortress. In the previous video we handled trading with the traders, and as promised this time I'll be building a hospital and talking a bit about the healthcare, but mainly building the hospital and taking care that we have all the supplies we need for the hospital. Hospital itself is relatively easy to set up. You take the zones with I, you designate an area and make it an hospital with an H. But I want to make a hospital a special room, so I won't just put it anywhere. The hospital should be relatively close to where you expect your dwarves to be wounded, mainly your entrance and the outside world if you plan to do some fighting outside. But also it needs to be kinda safe, so that the enemy, it's not the first thing that the enemy runs in. I should have planned a bit better when I started and actually maybe even set up a hospital right away. But I wanted to save it here as for the tutorial, so that it'll be all in a single episode. But since we have the central staircase, I will go down, I think here in my dormitory, and just build the hospital here. I will make 2 doors for the hospital. It doesn't need to be a room, but just for design's sake I will make it a room. And for something I'll show later, I'll also build a couple of rooms here ready to go. And the miners will go into mining that one, and when it's done I will set up the hospital there. But for some items that I'll be requiring when I have the hospital set up, I will use the unit list and manager, and I will queue up some beds. I think I will place about 12 maybe to the hospital, kind of make it big. So I will build 12 right away. I'll also be needing some tables. Tables are used in the hospital for doing surgeries, and tables are also a required component for a traction bench, which is required for more difficult surgery when the dwarf needs to be restricted or restrained while doing the surgery. I'll create 10 tables right away. I think I need about for each traction bench you need 1 table. I'll be creating maybe 2 or 3 traction benches, and the other ones will go by the beds for the surgeries. And then other things you need for the hospital. You'll have an easy way to check this a bit sooner when we have the hospital set up, but I will just make sure they are here. Splints. I will make 10 splints right away. Splints are used to kind of like immobilize arm or leg when it's broken, like bone has been fractured, and the splints are needed for that. And next I'll create crutches, which if a dwarf has crippled a leg, they will use a crutch to walk. Again, I will make 10. You can do by just creating a couple, but might as well queue up enough of them for the future. And then I'll also be needing, for the traction bench, I either need mechanisms, which I have been building already, but I will queue up some more because I'll be also creating more traps, so I'm queuing up enough of those while at it. And then for the traction bench you need chain or rope. I don't really have the metal industry going, so I'll just create some rope, and I will make it from cloth. For now I'll make maybe 4 of them. And with table, mechanism and then a rope or chain, you'll be able to create traction bench in the mechanics workshop. So I'll when those are ready, I will then queue up the traction bench. And apart from that, we also need some boxes or bags, so I'll make sure that I have enough rock coffers. You should maybe place about 8 coffers in your hospital. I'll create 10 while at it. And then if I think I have already some, but you need a couple of buckets. Buckets are needed if a cast is needed, like to keep a leg or something not moving, so that it's healed. It requires a plaster powder, and to create the cast you need plaster powder and water, and that water needs this bucket. So let's make some wooden buckets. I'll make 4 while at it. So there we have splints, crutches, then beds, tables for tables and tables for traction benches, mechanisms for traction bench, rope or chain for the traction benches, some boxes, in this case rock coffers, couple of wooden buckets, and we also need soap for the hospital to minimize the chance of infection. And to create soap, we need a rock nut oil or tallow, and tallow is processed fat from the butchered animals. I haven't been butchering that much, but I can easily create the rock nut oil because I have already. Well, actually, I need to go look at the seeds. The quarry bush seeds are rock nuts, and I have plenty of those, so I'll be able to press some rock nut oil from those, creating some cooking materials while at it. So I will build a workshop, and there at the bottom we have a screw press, which is B, just like the quern I built last time. This is just 1 square, so I will build it here right next to where my plants are, and there's actually the quern there as well, or millstone. So press here, and that requires 2 mechanisms, I think. Yes, so it'll be built there, and when that's done I will press some rock nut oil from it, and that's 1 component for the soap. The other component is lye, and lye is created. Now I need to make sure it's created in an ashery, and I will build it. It's there, like Y. Okay, just a moment. I'll double check what I actually needed for this. Okay, yes, I remembered it correctly. The ashery is where you will be creating the lye, and also other things, but to make the lye that is needed for soap you need ash, which is created in wood furnace, and you need a bucket. So ashery can pretty much be anywhere. I will actually build it right here, so it'll be close to my wood furnace. So ashery here, it requires a block which I have created earlier, so I will take that, and it requires a barrel. If you want to make a nice quality workshop, you can press X, and here you can see the individual items. If you just have this one, you will see the like all the elder barrels here. Sometimes if you want to construct a very fine, say a well, for example, pressing X and you can pick the finer quality items for this one. But I will just pick one there, and then you need a bucket. I happen to have those, so I can create the ashery. For the ashery, I will create a stockpile from bars and blocks, because this is pretty much the only place that will be using ash. Don't need to really make it a big one, so let's just make it like that. And here I will just disable everything at first and just choose ash here. So that's chosen like that. And then here next to the ash I will already build a workshop, a soap maker's workshop. And that looks like that, so I will make it here. That also requires a bucket. And then something to build it from. Let's make it from obsidian. And then here I will create a stockpile for food. Kind of interestingly, food, because you are looking at, remember to take the prepared food away with you. And here we have on the extracts, we have rocknut oil, and we have lye. So here we have now rocknut oil and lye. Also tallow is used for creating soap. So I won't however enable it here. Actually this is good if it's very close to the kitchen, because the fat tallow stockpile, it's good to be next to the kitchen, because kitchen is where the fat from butchered animals is processed into tallow. But I'll be at least now making the soap from rocknut oil, so I'll be creating this here. And actually I'll make it in a way that I will only have rocknut oil here in one stockpile, and then I will create another stockpile for the lye. And those will be for the, again, you for prepared food, and here only leaving lye. So this one now has rocknut oil. Yes, and this one has lye. Okay, and if I wanted, I could make a tallow stockpile there, but as you saw, that's a bit complicated to create, because there's no separate stockpile for tallow and fat. Because I would like tallow here and I would like fat next to the kitchen, but well, actually, well, anyway, just rocknut oil and lye there. So we have the means to create soap now with screw press for the rocknut oil. To create lye from ash in the wood furnace we need ashery, and then create soap from lye and the oil or tallow we need a soap makers. So those are there. I'm not sure if I have all those labors enabled, but at least I have those built now. And while I remember, I will order some ash here already. Let's make it 8. And I'll also disable some things here, like ash. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Take that, and let's actually take the soap off as well. That'll be there. Then the main food stockpile, I will take the lye off. I don't have those there. Then come here, just making sure Okay, let's take the rock nut oil away. Yeah, this the more you micromanage the stockpiles, more you will need to micromanage them in the future. Which reminds me, this bag stockpile. Let's remove stone and clay and metal from it and actually just leave plant clothes, leather and silk. So all those stone coffers will be removed from it. And now I will actually pause the recording for a while, so that the dwarves will have time to do all those things and some more. So oh, one more thing. We also need thread for the hospital. So I'll take orders with O and workshops and change the autoloom all thread to autoloom dyed thread for now. That way the thread I create will be taken to the hospital and not loomed into cloth right away. When the thread is in the hospital, the clothier or loom won't, the weaver won't use the thread. And I think that is it. A lot of stuff will start to happen. They will start building those things in case I have the laborers set up. And yeah, as said, I will pause the recording here a while because I need to wait for all these items to be built. For that room to be dug out and so on. Even that I've kept this kind of continuous. If something new happens, I will start the recording here again. But if not, I'll see you in a second, and we'll be building a hospital. Okay, I'm back. Actually, we are not building a hospital. I just noticed something. Something has gone wrong with my generic stockpile. This is no longer functioning, so to speak. It's they are not carrying items here anymore. So I will just disable all furniture here. I'm not sure how this is working for others, but this can sometimes happen, especially if you start creating those specialized stockpiles. So I noticed that none of the furniture that my mason is doing are being carried into stockpiles. And that might have happened because I had those boxes and bags in that bag stockpile, but I wanted to create a specific furniture stockpile anyway, so this doesn't matter. And I wanted to create it here right under the masons, so I created there. And because I have the special stockpile for barrels, and large pots and food storage, I will put that here. And yeah, I will leave the boxes and bags here for now. So now those items in the masons will be taken here. Yeah. Sometimes that can happen when there are items that are not being carried to a stockpile. It might be that a stockpile has kind of malfunctioned, if you will. And at this point, when I have the whole fortress set up, I kind of want to have a separate stockpiles for stuff anyway, so that I know where they are taken. For example, I don't want coal to be here. Pretty much just want the blocks to be here. But anyway, if that happens, just create a new stockpile and delete the one that doesn't seem to be getting items in it. And yeah, I'm pausing the recording again, and we'll see what I come up with next. Hopefully building the hospital. Okay, again, one more thing to keep my dwarves busy. I'm here where I mined in the southeast from the fortress. I'm expanding, searching a bit where this vein goes, and also preparing a grid that I will dig down from carefully, so that I don't run into cavern. Just one level down for now, because I do want to dig these areas out where the iron ore is, and because this is a soft material, I won't even do very surgical operation here. I'll just dig all this out, and creating downward stairways here where I don't have them, and we can go down from there. But taking these where the iron ore is, digging it out to keep the miners busy, and the iron ore is somewhat of a vein here, so I'll see how long it continues, and then I can just dig that out. But that'll keep my miners busy, and it'll also keep idle dwarves busy as they haul these ores from here into my fortress. And for that, I want to make sure I have large enough ore stockpile wherever my furnaces are. So I'll create one here again. Let's actually make it a bit smaller, and from here disable everything else but the metal ores. And since I seem to be getting a whole lot of galena, I will just disable that, because I have that other stockpile full of galena already. And right, of course, because this is an stone/ore stockpile, I want to increase that max. Let's zoom in again. Let's make that wheelbarrows maximum, so three wheelbarrows there. And while I remember, because I might have more of those, I will create some wheelbarrows from wood for upcoming stockpiles. So to keep the dwarves busy, doing a lot of mining now that I have found the iron ore, and we'll start using that later on, and we will be digging down here some more when we have everything set up. So for now the game can keep running again, and I'm still waiting for the stuff to be built. I created some additional bars and block stockpile here for the metal bars and coal, because this stockpile was full. The 4x4 stockpile here was full because there's not enough bins there. So anyway, so that I'll have all the metal bars stored there, and they are not blocking the workshops. But yeah, still waiting for materials for the hospital, so let's wait. And again, a little note here. The merchants from Omerkivis, or whatever your civilization is, will be leaving soon. This is kind of a final warning that do any trading you want to do it now, and eventually you'll get a message that they have started packing and are ready to leave. And because I have this locked down place, when I get the message that they are leaving, which will be soon after this, will be leaving soon, maybe a week or so, so in game. Then I'll open my safe trade depot so that they can leave. When it says that they have started packing their goods, they will start packing all the items they have spread in the trade depot into their wagons and their pack animals. And okay, there we got the message. So that was actually pretty fast. It's only maybe a day or two in game, maybe at max week. I didn't check the date, But anyway, now I got the message that they have embarked on their journey. It actually takes quite a while for them to actually leave, but because I want them to leave, I will let them leave. If I wanted them to be locked there, I would keep stuff locked. But now I want to close this one so that my fortress is safe, and opened one in the south so that caravan can leave. There we go. So now I don't need to worry about them. When they have packed their items, they will leave. They have protection. I will get message if they get into some sort of a fight. So they are there, and then when they have left, I need to check that is there any items there that are still mine, because this stockpile malfunction here. If I look at my order list, my manager was he was sleeping, and then he was on a break, and he's only now putting those orders into the workshop. So still waiting for a lot of the items, but we can soon start building the hospital already, as soon as we get some of the ropes and such, that we have all the items for the hospital. So anyway, still waiting a bit here before we start furnishing the hospital. And again, continuing some items I had left behind. I finally placed some doors here in my bedrooms, so I can create bedrooms with R from all my beds. I still don't have all the coffers here, but at least most of my dwarves will now have a place to crash. And I do need to start planning for additional bedrooms, and also furnishing all these that I have. But as far as beds and doors go, that is the finalized bedrooms. Kind of looks a bit confused, but anyway, we have the cabinet and bed and coffer in each 3 square bedroom and a door. And there are some of those not built yet doors, and not all the bedrooms have the coffers and cabinets yet. But that's finally got that's done. I kinda have forgotten it, and some dwarves were just sleeping in the dormitory. I can slowly start building the hospital here, so let's do that. These separate rooms I built, I'll be placing my traction benches in those ones. It's not necessary, but sometimes those operations can be real messy, and then the dwarf will lay on the traction bench for quite some time. So I want those to have be in a separate rooms. I will begin the hospital building by choosing I for zones, and then taking this whole area. As mentioned, this doesn't even need to be any kind of a room. It can be even on the surface, just assigning that area to be hospital, but it makes sense to make it kind of room-like. So making a zone with the I, and then I will assign this zone to be a hospital, just like we assigned meeting area, or we assigned pen and pastor. So this will be a hospital. And when I look with H for the hospital information, I can see that we need some tables, beds, traction benches, and boxes and bags here, and then we have various items that are carried here. As you now notice, these were the items that I was building. So we need splints, crutches, we need the gypsum plaster that I brought with me on embark, and also traded some more from the traders. We need a couple of buckets, we need soap to minimize the chance of infection, and then we need cloth and thread. These will be stored in whatever boxes and bags you place here. So I'll be placing these, will be then carried into those boxes and bags, and these limits here can be changed. These are the default ones. If you at all times seem that you run out of soap or you run out of powder in the hospital, you can increase these limits. These are somewhat buggy, so the dwarves will carry over the limit quite often. And there's also some bugs related to the trade caravan. The dwarves will in a way steal resources from the trade depot to be stored in the hospital, and that's kind of annoying as well. But anyway, in this hospital zone, as long as it's in this zone, you can all those beds, tables and such placed here are considered to be in that hospital. So let's start by building some beds. Actually, let's not build it there. I'll build a bed there, and then this will make a bit more sense later. But I'm building these beds in kind of well, if I make an example here, kind of make beds in each of the main directions, and then put table into between. You don't need to build 4 beds right away, but kind of plan in a way that you can have you have tables here like every 3rd square, and then you can build beds around it. I will actually disable these ones here for now, because the table needs to be next to the bed, because a patient who needs a surgery is resting on a bed, and then the surgeon needs to move that dwarf onto the table for the surgery. And if the table is too far away from the bed, basically just a couple of squares away, the patient will wake up, and then they can't perform the surgery because the patient is not sleeping. And that's why you can place whatever number of beds in there, but make sure that next to each bed is a table, and several beds can share that one table. So and plan in a way that you can place a whole lot of beds in there. Of course, kinda hoping that you don't need tons of space in your hospital, but plan in a way that you can and will need a whole lot of beds, so that each patient is carried into the hospital. So let's place a bed there as well, and then bed there. And I made that the way I didn't want to make. Disable those beds. So I'm basically building 8 beds here now, which is actually quite a lot. But when you get to a very big sieges and battles later on, you will have a whole lot of wounded dwarves. So there we have the beds and tables. And I'm actually waiting for the caravan to leave, which they are doing right about now. I'm waiting for them to leave before I place those boxes, so I can avoid that bug here now. So there they go, and looks like everything has been carried away from the trade depot. Now that the caravan is leaving, we'll see if some enemies attack them as they are leaving or not. But we'll see. And let's go back to the hospital and see my list of items to be built. The ropes has been created. The mechanisms has been created. So I can now already give the order for the traction bench. So I will put couple of them now. So let's make 2. And I will increase the priority of this traction bench. Put it right here after this these mechanisms. Although those mechanisms might have been queued up already, but we'll get a notification when the traction bench is done. But either way, we can now build some stone coffers here. The medical staff, the doctors, they will physically go and pick items from these containers. So put them all in a central location. Usually it's a good idea to make maybe 8 coffers. I usually do this. I place 8 coffers in the middle of the hospital, and this hospital works in a way that you can expand it if needed, if you need a really large hospital. In theory you can build another hospital as well with another area, but I haven't really done that. It is causing some issues at times. But there we can see that those have now been stored. And if we look with again I for zone and then capital H, we can see that this hospital zone now has 8 beds, 4 tables and 4 boxes or bags. And now that there is boxes or bags here, the dwarves will start carrying these items in if I have them somewhere in the fortress. So at least, for example, gypsum plaster will be all brought in here, because it is not stored in anywhere else but the hospital. So we'll soon see that being brought in. There we see some items already coming. Okay, there was many dwarves picking up the same items. That reminds me, all the supplies that are stored in the hospital, they are there, but I like to build stockpiles for those items as well. The items in the hospital don't need, and actually they even can't be they don't need to be in a stockpile. They are stored in those boxes. But I want to create a stockpile here close to the hospital for the items that the hospital is needing. For example, the splints and crutches. Finished goods stockpile, because these are not used in any other use than the hospital. So this is the only place where these items need to be. So splints and crutches. And I can then disable those from the main finished goods stockpile. They will be more and less taken to the hospital anyway, but if there are any extras, they will be there close to the hospital anyway. Let's see what else they are carrying in here. Are they carrying anything? Some splints have been brought here, but not much yet. They are busy with other things. We have 0 idlers. Okay, there they come bringing some cloth in. A bucket. Probably gypsum plaster. A bucket. More gypsum plaster, more cloth, more gypsum plaster, cloth, maybe splints, crutches. If we go and look with the capital H, we can see they have already brought enough cloth here. They have brought enough splints. They have brought all the gypsum plaster. There's already over the limit. There are enough buckets here, and they'll be bringing in thread when I have that. So I will actually do that now. Let's make sure I have process plants. Let's make it 5. And while at it, I will also add an order to press some liquid. No, wait a minute. Right. I first need to mill some seeds or nuts to paste. This will make paste from the rock nuts, and then I need to press that liquid from that paste. So first mill, and I will make. Let's make 8. I think I have plenty of the rock nuts. you need to make sure that you have enough rock nuts before you start doing this, because of course, because you mill the nuts, you won't get any rock nuts, which are the seeds for the quarry pushes. You won't get them back because they have been milled. So first this paste, and when that's done I will make the liquid from the paste, and that'll make the rock nut oil, and then I'll make lye from the ash, and then I will combine the rock nut oil and lye into soap. Which reminds me that indeed I don't have a potash maker, and I don't have a soap maker in my fortress, so I will need to assign those before I get into the soap making. Let's take a look at here, and as you can see, they are bringing more items here than the limits. So like in theory these are the limits for the items, but they tend to fill those boxes until all items have been brought in for some strange reason. And there we can see that some splints are now actually, that is a really strange icon for it. Well, anyway, some of these splints are now stored in this stockpile instead of being taken in the hospital. And looks like some crutches are being brought in now, so that's all good. But pretty much what I'm now waiting for is, well, I think I can cover that soap making perhaps in the next video as well. But now that we have a hospital, even if it doesn't have any supplies, as soon as you set up the hospital, you probably should do this right away when you start, and you can do it right away when you start a fortress. Plan a place for the hospital and set it up, even if you don't have all those supplies. Just have the hospital set up. In this case, when you have it set up, you will go to the noble screen, and sometimes this is appointed automatically, at least I recall, the Chief Medical Dwarf. And I brought my starting carpenter was also adequate diagnostician, like level 2 in diagnostician, and whoever is your highest diagnostic, make that dwarf the Chief Medical Dwarf. And the main reason for the Chief Medical Dwarf is that when you go to your status screen, you will get a health option here. And here I can see the status of all my dwarves, all my animals, if they are wounded. If I there's no icons here now, but I'm pressing 6 from the numpad to move to the right to see the different status, and that's kind of a scrolling bar there on top. So this is a big screen with all the different statuses. So here I can see that everyone is actually doing pretty okay. No one has any conditions. No one is even sleepy or hungry. There's nothing here. But you get this screen with a Chief Medical Dwarf, and I think it also requires that the Chief Medical Dwarf has at least some diagnostician skill. The healthcare itself, I will explain that a bit in the future, but I definitely recommend that you check in the Dwarf Fortress wiki the healthcare page that explains the whole hospital building. It explains how the healthcare works and what the different roles from the laborers do, what the diagnostician does, what the surgeon does, and there's the bone setter, sutterer, and what else is there? I don't even remember now. I'm missing something. Bone setter, sutterer. There's a wound dresser, yes, indeed. So for all the things that those dwarves do, check out the healthcare page in the Dwarf Fortress wiki. But do note one thing: the the Chief Medical Dwarf has the diagnostician skill, but every dwarf that has at least some diagnostics should have that labor enabled, because no action, or every action in the hospital, begins with diagnostician doing the job. And if you only have one diagnostician and that dwarf decides to go to sleep, eat, drink, carry some items into a stockpile, nothing is happening in the hospital. So either make sure that your diagnostician is not busy, or that you have enough of them. But that's kind of already advanced healthcare stuff, so no need to worry about that much. But that's how you build a hospital. You set up a zone, set it to be hospital, make sure you have their beds and tables next to each bed. You have boxes and bags where they will store these items, and if you don't have these items, you can make them. They are required for different operations in the hospital. That kind of makes sense. You will dress a wound, or like use a thread to close the wound, and then the splints are needed for those fractured bones. Crutches are needed so that the crippled dwarf can walk. Powder is needed to make the casts, and that reminds me that if I didn't mention it, the hospital needs a water source, and for long-term planning, you do want to have an indoor well. Right now, if someone would break a leg so bad that it would require a cast from the gypsum plaster, the dwarf would need to go all the way up to the surface, outside into this lake, to create the cast, and then come back. So for long-term planning, think about building a well close to the hospital. We'll build a well later on in this tutorial, but keep that in mind, that you do need water there. And also the wounded dwarves, they don't drink alcohol. If they can't move themselves, other dwarves will use buckets to carry water for those dwarves to drink. So again, another reason to have a water source next to your hospital. With that, I think I will now finally end this video, and in the next one we'll finish up this hospital part by creating soap, for example, and making sure that my pigtails are processed into thread, and I still have the orders in the orders W, so workshops, that only dyed thread is loomed, so all the thread that is created should be brought here. And when the hospital, and of course the traction benches will be placed here. When all that is done, I will start. Hey, I found hematite. That's a good way to end. I will start to actually use all this iron I have found, and I will create military. That will require quite many parts probably to cover, and also well, building that indoor well, that's quite important one, and then probably digging down and finding the caverns. That's a special operation on its own. So we can see that there's a whole lot of iron still here, and it looks like there is more iron beneath here as I was doing this, and there's more iron there as well. So the idea, just to end this episode with this, doing this kind of a grid, because I want to find big veins of ore. I don't necessarily care about small veins of metal, like platinum or something can be like that, but This way, with this kind of a big grid, I can easily see where these veins are going, and how, when I continue down, I can see how long they continue, and then I can dig these grids into the lower levels as well, seeing how long the vein continues and so on, and then just dig out all the valuables from there. And then if I want, I can make a tighter grid, making more downward stairways to find some gems, for example, and stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, hospital, got that done, and coming up, military, and then whatever comes up, we'll probably be having some hostile activity at some moment. Hopefully I'll have time to set up the military before that, but if not, then we'll see what we'll do. But thanks for watching this quite long-ish tutorial on hospital and stuff. So I'll see you in the next one, when we start covering the military, finishing the hospital, and so on. Yeah, must have been the longest ending to a video ever. Anyway, now I stop. See you next time. Bye bye.